Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. We are watching Outlander. This is season 5. It's crazy. Season 5, episode 2, and it's called Between Two Fires. So far 2 of these episodes have the word fire in the title. There's this thing about lighting the fire, like lighting the beacon when I'm ready for you to stand by my side. Seems like there's gonna be a lot of fires this season. And then it has me thinking about that newsletter, that article that Brianna knew about and everything. Anyways, it reminds me of the article where we hear that Claire and Jamie die in a fire. So we'll see. We shall see. I'm ready to jump into this episode. You can follow me on Patreon if you would like to have early access and access to the full-timer versions of these reactions. Oh. Are these the regulate? Okay, Murtaugh's like, I'm gonna choose violence. Oh my god, they're tarring everybody? Oh.
Where was the mercy when the good folks hereabouts begged for it?
How would you get it off? That was my thought. I've had this question for years. Oh my god, Murtaugh. Oh, but I love the intro. I'm always like, how can they make it better? And somehow they do. It's strange. Oh, because he's been tarred.
Lord, I can't believe this come to this. I've been letting his blood. I've given them purgatives. What more could I have done? Aye, and some blue mass pills.
Mercury.
Does he need more blood let?
They would give people mercury back in the day.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
There's nothing more I can do,
It's
Mrs.
got
Farish.
mercury poisoning at this point. I love what Jamie is wearing. It's like such a beautiful outfit.
I'll be sure to mention the affable lieutenant in my next dispatch.
Is there a bromance?
I can only hope when we catch Fitzgibbons and see him hanged. Perhaps then the governor would be so kind.
Yeah, that's right.
Charming. Maybe you should be glad he only spat at us.
I have to disagree. There's always a need to respect His Majesty's army. Life's under no obligation to give us what we expect.
Yeah, that part's true.
We should take what is offered and be thankful it's no worse than it is.
Yes, he doesn't share your beliefs in the matter.
Yeah.
What are your beliefs in the matter?
Then you admire a man who'd rather starve than dishonor his own conscience. Generosity of a coin tells me you have some as well.
I do believe it is right to give to those in need. I suppose it is reasonably true that there is never a convenient time for death or taxes.
Now do I detect some sympathy with the regulators, Lieutenant?
Mama?
Bree, don't come in yet, please. Wait, she didn't cover up, she covered his face? Not his guts?
Oh my god.
I know it's difficult to see someone like this, but I had to do it. I had to confirm that...
You could have done that, but you don't need to put this on Brianna.
What if someone finds out?
Oh, shit.
No, I'll make sure of it.
Oh, I didn't think about
You know the
that
worst-
thing. Okay. I guess what's the difference? Are they trying? Is that what they're trying to say? There's like a lady after my own heart.
Goodness, you're here. It's getting worse and worse. This country is going to the dogs.
History repeats itself. It never ends. It's the same topics. We have the same topics today.
Yes.
My God.
Paraded through town like a boiled goose.
Told you captured 3 of them.
We did. And they ought to hang!
See, it's like this. It's a never ending. Oh, he knew. Oh, both of them.
Look at you, on your high horses. You're no better than us.
How dare you?
Look me in the eye and tell me what you did was justified. Oh, give the whole stinking lot of them in tar. You can't mean that. We'll wage war on you if we must.
Damn.
Bring to blood red coat, the colour of the devil himself.
truly so brave, I will ask you one last time.
Really?
Where
Fitzgibbons.
is that so?
Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god, that is disgusting! Oh, the squirrel. I just... Oh my god! God! That was so loud in my ear.
Who gave him a soldier's death? The other two will not be so lucky. To be hanged as proof of the work we're doing here to staunch the uprising.
Is that what they deserve?
I gave that man better than he deserved.
Wow.
Is there no cause you would die for, Lieutenant?
Oh, maybe he'll, like, convert him over.
We're here, aren't we? To die for king and country.
Out life's little day.
Oh my god, so cute.
Fergus, would you mind looking after the children for a little while? I need to speak with Marsley.
Of course.
Is she gonna become your assistant? Did they bury nothing? They buried a body. They thought it was a body. She saved his. Oh my god! If people find this out, they're really gonna think she's a witch.
You promised you'd let me explain.
Explain first. Don't show it. Don't show it.
Lord have mercy.
Marsley, please.
For us from
Was she right? Mama,
Oh shoot!
I'm not a witch.
I was thinking that her mom would have told her about that story too. Oh shoot!
The coffin with rocks. Should a physician not be more concerned with the living? The curse of the living is that they can't tell you the secrets of the dead. What secrets might those be? Well, how to save those who are still here with us. Defile the body. I didn't defile him. I did what's called an autopsy to learn why he died. Stitch him up. Like a seamstress.
Yeah. The future is weird. It is, but very important.
I told Matt to be hard to find. Didn't count on his friends laying a trail of tar and feathers to his doorstep.
Myrtle was here with us.
Damn.
for poor Mistress Farish. Terrible, is it not?
Bartered for some of that St. James fever powder instead. They say King George himself uses it.
Oh, to ingest? For a burn? But the wound is on his hand.
Why risk it?
Well, exactly.
He may as well take it.
Claire.
And it's good enough for my boy.
Mistress Chisholm, has Thomas been vomiting at all?
Aye.
It's a poison. It makes you vomit. I mean, if you take too much
You're
of
a
it...
fine healer, mistress, and we are blessed to have you. Dr. Wilson is a learned physician. Discovered that the king was being poisoned by his own...
Is that the story, though? And like, how many times has that happened anyways? Oh my god. How are people so gullible?
I'm going to make as many copies as I can and hand them out to all the settlers.
And how are you going to explain how you know these things? Sort of like Ottertooth, isn't it?
But they will listen to Dr. Rawlings.
Dr. Rawlings recommends.
The man who used to own my medical kits and my microscope. And now, the good doctor behind these radical new ideas.
The test.
Oh, well, I have a new apprentice. Thank you for helping me hide the body.
The apprentice.
That's a good guy right there. He helps you hide the body.
It's raised by a minister. I don't want to shoot anyone.
Oh
Brianna, on
yeah,
the other hand, she,
that's true.
we've seen her with a rifle.
As much as I love all of you being here, I hope you don't stay. I would miss you all terribly.
So Claire does.
Safer in the future.
Yeah, I knew it.
For
I
all three
knew
of you.
it.
And I know you feel the same way. I'm doing everything I can to make this a safer time, but it's not. It's my fault that you're all here.
Hand, and your godson on the other. Where will your allegiance lie when the time comes to fight?
We pray it does not come to that.
I have no say over my godson. And he has no say over me. But he stands with the crown. No, he stands with his people.
Damn, what?
Whoa. You're not planning to eat all of that, are you?
No, I'm going to let it go mouldy.
Oh, she's gonna make antibiotics. She's gonna try to make antibiotics. Awesome.
What?
Penicillin.
Never.
Right?
I'm making penicillin, or at least I'm going to try to.
Dangerous. What if it messes with some cosmic balance? Or breaks some rule of space and time?
I change the future every time I save a person's life here. His very presence here has affected the future of a lot of people who aren't breathing anymore.
Jeremiah was a bull.
Aww.
Enjoy to the world.
He's gonna become famous. He's just like...
Can you believe it? Look at our baby.
Oh my god. What? Oh my god. He's still here?
May I present Mr. Stephen Bonnet?
Oh no.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. No winner when I see one.
And I know a cheater when I see one. Clearly you know that woman. You're in league with the woman. You knew when she'd go down. I know who you are, Mr. Bonnet. Come on!
Is this so we can see how badass Bonnet is? And this is who Roger is gonna have to defeat? And they're like,
Tis unlike you, Bonnet.
that's too much.
Why not kill the man outright? I considered it.
But I must set a better example. I'm a father now.
Oh my god. Oh no. Oh my god, really? Okay. Well, that was a lot. I feel like each of these episodes is amazing. I mean, it really is. Each of these episodes just teaches us so much. Several things I have in my mind about this episode. I feel, for one, I guess there's no like straight and narrow path. Like, there's always the possibility of death. There's always a possibility of a war breaking out, a fight, a battle, disease, and we see that more so in this time period and the time periods before. They're around the 1700s, and it's rough. I mean, we still see this in the 21st century. There are still wars. There are still diseases, famines, all of these hardships, but we have made ourselves, like the scientists, the philosophers, the doctors, the people who have they built this world that we're in. They've sort of built cushions around our lives. Like, we have sustained human lives. We can stop, like Claire was saying, you can get a cut back in the day and get infected and die from just a scrape. Whereas today we've got over-the-counter Neosporin, and we've got peroxide, and we've got bandages, and we can go down to the urgent care, we can go to the ER. We can see the top surgeons in the world, and we can get a heart attack, get a heart transplant, a face transplant. It's amazing, just within a couple hundred years, to be this advanced is it's amazing. That's probably not the right word to use, but just to know that how time changes and everything, and how safe the world does get. This episode just shows us a few stories. The storyline of Roger and Bree, the storyline of Claire, and then the storyline also of Murtaugh, the regulators, but that's mixed in with Jamie's storyline too. It's just, what do you do when you're faced with disease, when you're faced with war, when you're faced with danger? And that's really everybody's like line of thought this episode. All of our main characters are like, what are we gonna do if someone gets a disease and we don't know how to fix it? Well, I'm gonna have to go and do these procedures that will help but are taboo in this world, in this day and age right now. How are you gonna be a Jamie in a situation where it isn't black or white? It is very, very, it's multicolored. But for the regulators and for the redcoats, it's black or white. It's either you're for your country or you're not, or you're for the king. There is no other side. And so people like Jamie, people like Claire, people like Roger and Brianna are in a very interesting predicament. And I think that those types of people who kind of see the world multicolored or even in a gray area, when you look at the world in black or white, that does mean that there's more death and there's more wars, because it can't be either or. It can't be, two things can't be right at the same time when it can. Like it's as simple as that. But our brain we're taught one thing since we were kids, and when you become adults, this is who we are, and it's very hard to change. So Jamie is caught in a war. He wants to protect Murtaugh. He also wants to protect the Scotsman. But he's pledged his duty to Governor Tyrone. And now he's sort of in this mess, and he's trying to navigate it the best way he can. And it's very difficult watching, because you're like, oh, Murtaugh, what are you doing? But then you're like, oh, but Jamie, you shouldn't say that in front of those guys. And then you're like, ah. So you feel that stress, and they show it really well in this series. It's just one wrong step and you're dead, or one wrong step and it's just the wrong choice or something. But Murtaugh said it best when he said that, like, he doesn't control his godson and his godson doesn't control him. They are both doing what they need to do, and that's really what it comes down to. So I don't know how that is all going to play out. I think I see two things. Violence begets violence, and I believe that 100%. You punch someone, they're going to punch you back. It's very rare that someone's going to turn the other cheek, like Jesus was talking about. But in a way, Jesus's message is right in that point. Like, you're turning your cheek, not fighting back, holding your tongue. It saves so many people. There's a scene in Vinland Saga, I think it was season 2, where it says, like, I'm gonna butcher this, but it's basically, it's like the strongest man is able to be laughed at. I'm butchering the quote, but basically it's, if you are able to withstand a whole group of people just laughing at you, just so that, you don't blow up and start fighting, because then when you start fighting, you can't stop it. You don't know what it's gonna turn into. It's like a flame, we don't know how far the fire is gonna go. So when you're able to hold your tongue, you might actually save millions of lives. You might save 100 lives. You might save one life, which is your own life. So it's interesting, but it's so hard because we're not really taught that. We're just taught to, like, defend ourselves, and I think it's natural. You definitely want to defend yourself, but it definitely will save lives. And I don't know if there can be a balance. I would like to know if there can be, because I think there's a time and a place for everything. Like, it's for the greater good. Like, what do you do? And that's the hardest part, to be laughed at and to be stoic in those moments, and to be judged and to be hated. All of that, it's not easy to do. So I really love this episode for that. It's very complex. And then when we go to Claire is really going, she's like, I don't even care anymore. I need to cut this guy open. I need to know what's going on. I don't want anyone to die. And I'm tired of the death. And I think that part of her is, like, going a little stronger, because she has her daughter now in this time period, and a grandson, and she's terrified of them dying. And that's why she keeps wanting, even in, like, the few episodes back, she was just like, are you sure, Brianna? You're not gonna have, like, running water and a toilet that flushes? And she was just like, get the hell out of here. But Brianna wants to be there, which is very cool, I think. But it's just interesting. She's really going hard on this because she doesn't want the people she loves to die. And it's funny because she didn't have this much of, like, she didn't feel this strongly about just when it was just her and Jamie. It got stronger this paranoia got stronger because she has her children there, her grandson and her baby girl. So to see that is pretty amazing, and I honestly hope she can create penicillin. I that would be wonderful, but I don't know how she'll implement it. I don't know how it will change the future. I don't know, but it's just like, it's also crazy because of how many people are still very superstitious and also don't really listen to, other women don't even listen to other women because, the men are the ones that are the men who have all the answers. They're in positions of power. They're the doctors, they're the pastors, they're the priests, they're the governors. It's not the women. So to have, even though they've seen what Claire can do, they're still kind of like, yeah, whatever. So it's just so interesting to see that. And then going to Roger, just seeing him it's like very complicated for him. Part of him wants to stay there because he has his family there, his only family. But there's a big part of him that wants to protect his family as well, and that's going to the future. There is no, obviously, if you're in the future, if you're in our time, it doesn't mean you're not going to die. But there's a lot more cushion. There are a lot more resources now. So if anything bad happens, most of the time we can fix it in this time period, for the most part. So I get him wanting to go back. And also, he doesn't feel like he fits in. He's not that type of man that Jamie is and that whole crowd is. Like, he's not that type of man. And the thing is, it doesn't make him less of a man. And that's the part that I really want him to like find out, that he can be a scholar, a musician, very, very gentle, but also to take business into his own hands. And I really think that is going to be like the ultimate battle in the end, is him versus Stephen Bonnet. And we see how ruthless Stephen is. Roger can barely shoot a squirrel, but I think like what we've seen with Roger is he has a lot of perseverance, a lot of determination, and he's got a lot up here, and he's kind of the whole package. He's just got to learn how to get more physical and more active and learn, and it'll take time, and maybe there's not enough time right now, but I believe in him. Like, he proved, I love the man, I love him. He proved me completely wrong. I mean, everything he did when he was captured by the Mohawk, and he survived it all. He really survived, and he just, most of us probably couldn't survive that, really, just the walk alone. So it's just, he's a lot more stronger than he realizes. I hope he finds that out. And he wants to have a connection with Jamie. And the thing is Jamie is a man's man, he's not used to the type of man that Roger is. Roger is the type to, let's go get some beers and talk about whatever it is that he's into. Like, him and Frank would have been best friends. Like, they would have been like, oh, it would have been so sweet to see them together. But Jamie doesn't get it. Like, it's just like, I mean, I guess Brianna likes him. I guess. For him, he's still like, nah. But I feel really bad for Roger, because I can't really blame Jamie for feeling that way, because that was how Jamie is raised. He's questioning the Roger thing, but he's also he's open-minded because he's like, well, it is a different time, so I guess, I'm sure Claire and him had a talk. He's got to kind of take away his prejudices, but he still has his prejudices, and as he calls him a heretic for being a Presbyterian. So it's funny, but I think once he can get over this hump, I think he'll be able to believe in himself, take out damn Stephen Bonnet, and then also show and prove to Jamie that he can protect Brianna. And I mean, Brianna can kind of protect herself. She's a strong woman. But there's still this thing there, like, he is a man, so there is like this level of protection that a man who's who is married to a woman there is this thing that is there, and I can't deny it, and it's beautiful if you have that type of situation in your life. But you know, it doesn't mean like the man is higher or like I don't hell no, that's not how this works. We're all equal, but we do have different like roles. But you know what I mean? Like Jamie has a role he plays. Claire has a role she plays. Jamie could never do. Well, he could if he studied and practiced, and there was years and years, but he could never do what Claire does. And Claire can't do what Jamie does. She can't go into battle and fight. They're both really good at what they do, but so it doesn't mean that one is better than the other. They just know what role to play, and when it comes together, they love and they're equal to one another. So when I say roles, I don't mean like this in that traditional sense, but I do feel there is like this. There needs to be a belief in oneself, and I hope that Roderick gets there. And then the last thing I'm gonna say is Marcelly I'm so excited for her. I really, really hope she can get into this because she would do awesome as Claire's apprentice, and I'm very excited to see this play out. Oh my goodness, I didn't see that coming at all, and I just think Claire really needed help, but also I feel like Marcelly is very quick. She's very smart. She's bright. She's gonna do a really awesome job, and she has no fear. She's a good candidate, so it's awesome. I can't wait to see the next episode. I can't wait to watch. Thank you guys for watching with me, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.